It roams the rift. This mysterious creature, calculated in its moves, kind of. It emerges from hiding long after it was needed. The skill level is apparent. Its persistence for justice is charming. It is blind. It is stupid. It has Lee syndrome. Its kicks are too weak and it needs to flee. Others would flee. But it simply cannot do that. It must go back in because it is your team's jungler. Now of all the diffs on the rift, when the jungle has a gap so large you could put it between two thighs and jerk your ween to it, there are bound to be problems. You could be playing the most cheddar cheesy cheap ass bot lane comp where you pair the tranquilizing toddler with frozen Legolas because you enjoy waking up enemies from peaceful naps with a little death only to realize your jungler is just slightly less intelligent than your average dead goldfish, turning the game into a total toss up and now you never know what you are gonna get. Kind of like a blind date. Contestant number 3, why don't you start by telling me a little about yourself? Okay, how about you contestant number 1?
Well, my name is Opera GX and I work as an internet browser. Many people tell me I'm easy on the eyes due to my forced dark mode sleek design and I have a lot to offer in a relationship like my GX player can make sure we always have the best music playing at our fingertips and I think you would like my taste in music. Here, check this one out.
Happy boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy, talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy if happy talk back.
Wow, this dude sounds like a lyrical genius.
Yeah, hair. You kind of sound like him, but anyway, I hear you like playing games too and I love games. I have a GX corner that is always showing the latest and greatest games that we could get and try out together. And if you just want to watch, I have a Twitch integration tab and embedded Discord to show you how willing I am to meet your friends.
Amazing. Contestant number 2, I don't like clingy browsers. How do you feel about respecting your user space?
Well, I think any relationship should be committed to each other, so if we are together, we should be dedicating the majority of our resources to the other at all times.
But the boys and
If I may interject, I love the hang but don't cling approach. In fact, you can use my GX control to limit my memory, RAM, CPU and network so I can be available if you need me, but never interfering in your game sesh with the boys.
Okay, that's it, I'm set on contestant number 1, the other 2 can suck a butt. What's the next steps?
Oh, it's simple, just click on the link in the description to get started. I'm easy to get to know, so I can't wait for this relationship to start.
Pog. Now I know half of you are probably googling if Rav and Opera GX are still together, so to answer your questions let me just say I still spend a lot of late nights browsing her if you're smelling what I'm stepping in, and I appreciate anyone who just watched how we first met. But now we have a jungle diff to cover. Now, as I mentioned, I was running the sleep then snipe comp with Little Miss Big Head Small Tits against a dude who was literally on fire supporting for pre-reformed Tyler 1, and our first double date gets heated until we break into intimate pairs so my support can get lucky, but it turns into me almost getting the D, as in Draven you pervs, but he cocky cock blockies himself and I get out. Then baby Rapunzel comes back to deal with the juggling jag off and I am just trying to finish drinking my health pot before I get up, so I do nothing but flick an arrow their way. Then I figure I will just solemnly go shop until I see that little shitter who almost certainly bottles his own farts and then fap attacks his own pork sword to the slow subtle release of the stench, killing off my midget employees, so I relive the night I got arrested that one time by sneaking into the bushes for some peeping and then I bam Legolas the loser for the kill. Meanwhile, much further north, the junglers are meeting for the first time as the mist shitter says, "Hi, I don't like dogs so please piss off," but then when he starts to show that he doesn't like turtles either, the roided dog's like, "Nah, that's where I draw the line," and loses a smite battle. So naturally they get their dicks tangled together and then he who roams first will quench that bloodthirst, and in this case, the bomb rat takes the cake, which gives Mr. Steel Yo Kid a good time to announce that he now identifies as a rabies-ridden werewolf, but then he has the opportunity to walk a day in Inspector Gadget's translucent shoes and you can't pass that up. So the jungle diff is now at a 2 if you are counting, but this crazed cucklord didn't just kill a man and then taxidermy himself inside of its dead corpse just to go home and call it a night, so he runs top, rips off the dead skin costume and then gets in a little misty shit slap fest against the male stripper. Then back to bot because me killing this flaming piece of burnt waffles friend didn't go over so well, so he attempts a flash turn me to Ash combo, but I am a dancing Delilah and he is now drugged, to which I celebrate with a short stroke and then I run up to Sleeping Beauty and do nothing but collect my assist G's. And a minute later when we have the burn victim looking like his head is stuck in a cherry, we get a gank from he who later proves to be as dumb as a dog, and after Draven gets erased faster than a perv's browser history, you probably are like, how is this jungle Diff? And so let the conclusion of this small battle foreshadow the dick diff that will ensue as the enemy jungler arrives fashionably late to say, anything you can do I can do better. And any backseat driver watching this knows that played perfectly this would have been a 4-for-0 instead of a 2-for-2, right guys? And to make matters worse, I get found out, and I'm not trying to offend freaking edgelord Edison camping my lane thinking if he kills a YouTuber enough times in a video he can quit his job rubbing his tits against windshields at Carl's car wash, so I go 900 IQ to get them off my scent.
Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know. How would they know?
But that's besides the point, because I want to introduce you to a dank combination that you can run with just one item called say 90-90 and then get the fuck out of my sighty, which leaves just juggling Ben Stiller alone, and he can step on the lighted up spot all he wants, but this isn't Dance Dance Revolution, so he won't be winning this one. Then right back to Bob the Body Snatcher, and this time he completes his tortoise torture only to come in mid and remind our jungler that he's about as useful as a white crayon, giving him the option to steal his soul, but he thinks, why would I want to be a feeding moron, and opts to secure the double himself instead. That said, I should probably admit that I have a drug problem, like I love watching this burn victim get drugged and then dunked forcefully into his own fountain. But I guess being the strongest 6th graders in school only gets you so far when an 8th grader wants to play, so needless to say I get my nipple grabbed from the inside and pulled out through my anus without any hope of the encounter going any other way, and then I guess he just wants to rub salt on the wound when he makes my dead ass see how much better he looks in my outfit. So good that it attracts all the dumb little toddler girls straight back to him when they should have just run away, but thanks to our statue who has no emotions or sex drive, it could have gone worse. And thanks to that thick wad of cash delivered to us in Fountain, we were able to keep putting the hype in snipe, and these beanie babies were like, damn, the last time our heads were glowing like exit signs it didn't turn out too well for us, so they decide to go full blown indecent exposure status and pussy out. But my motto is not satiated until shitters are slayed, so the golden Girl Scout combs the burn victim, and then I ask the axhole to hold my arrow. Then the big bad wolf and Viagra meet again in the shrubs, and Warwick tells a scary story to which the kinky king is like, ah, I'm so scared JK, that was weak pussy sauce, nothing scares me when you fed me like 7 kills, and then he jump jabs and slays the shitter. And I guess the full moon came out because he quickly turned into a werewolf to get that extra boost he didn't need to kill our molding moron of a top laner. And then I can't picture a more terrifying duo than a man going through an identity crisis and his pet 700-pound cankles crab, but hey, let's just throw a roided stripper into the mix, and if you guessed that the two of them go for a little aerial anus excursion into an oops I shouldn't have worn these white tights type of moment, then you would be correct. So at this point you can tell Freddy Krueger in his furry costume is starting to sweat, thinking I'm gonna make a jungle diff video about him, so after a fat fail he desperately looks for an easy win. You know something anyone can do, like kill an ADC before he dies his dumb death. And long story short, this charade of him playing Where's Waldo with his brain cells got my whole team killed until the Bork bitch heads under tower to claim his latest corpse code, and I'm just patiently waiting for the tower to freaking attack him, but I guess Riot confused me with someone for having a sexual fetish for edging with death as I get out one Yumi boop on the snoot from death. Then we catch Harry Hot Hands trying to mess with our surveillance, so I inform him that I won't tolerate it, and then he learns exactly why you shouldn't operate tantrum tomato machinery on drowsying drugs. And then I guess someone told this little grape-stained bomb rat that it was get away with being a dickhead day for free or something, but the joke is on him because that day doesn't exist, as he gets an Ambien enema before waking up and literally shitting his Anya's out in fear, so I run over and wake him up with a gentle shower of deadly darts. And most people live and learn, but this pregnant-ass midget just lives as he dances with danger immediately after his last failure, which results in the historic hunt of the explosive hairball, which was notable because it was the first time our Victor ever got a kill in his life. Then checking back in on Exhibit X-274, why I hate this game, we have Furry Frankenstein entering our little A-Ram. A situation when picking your spots wisely is key to winning, and any spot where he can spam his ult button and shoot for the stars is a good spot to him, even if it landed him under tower and dead alongside his friends in exchange for killing a support worth 9 total gold. And it's not like this allowed Fred to fulfill his lifelong fantasy of cosplaying like a tiny little girl while simultaneously making me think this is unwinnable. So I'm just finishing up some shopping when I see the Mr. Dick Diff getting a little cocky, so we provoke his Jesus Christ impersonation, and despite my BDSM invitation going straight to voicemail, I keep a level head before hitting a flash more boner inducing than a chicks with double D's on Bourbon Street for the shutdown. Side note, drug the Draven and then deem him dead is definitely one of my new favorite games. Then checking in on the sword simp as he runs over to save his mid laner from getting Taylor Lautnered only for us to see he is actually a BMing dickhead. But I guess when you're the sole reason why your team is winning because you have the words jungle diff surgically implanted into your tits like an egotistical e-boy, you can do whatever you want, like run into 3 of us and still get your kill without a single worry in the world. And it was truly adorable that this Draven just was so insistent on being a part of the plays. Poor fella. Oh, speaking of sucking ass, our jungler told us he wanted redemption after his last loser lunge, so he injected his boiled sludge into his back to hype him up and then proceeded to land a super clutch ult on absolutely nothing before kind of just wandering around with dick in hand, but laughably no one recognizes him as any threat at this point, so he kind of just pretends like he belongs in the still alive club until someone votes him out as the imposter as I tie the burn boy up and bang him. Then it's just a large tranquilized animal and a small bomb rat left, so I unload a long boy and then follow up with a falling flurry before flashing from the little fuse freak. But we still have to deal with one jungler in this game trying to win for his team as he single-handedly destroys not 1 but 2 of our contraptions I installed to prevent the roided midgets from being birthed. And once enough of those things are around it becomes too much to handle, so we fall victim to Viego Diff thanks to our 14 death Warwick. And a side shout out to Set, the unsung hero of suck in this one. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and as always, Rav out.
Ravi boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy. If happy talk back then I'm taking your Grammy and boy oh boy I'll make her happy. Let's go.